What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about a Shudder exclusive. This is a thriller that was released May 18th, 2019. It was picked up by Shudder after the film festival circuit. And yeah, this is Vivarium. Yeah, it was released May 18th, 2019. It was directed by Lorcan Finnegan, who's also done films like Without Name and some short films like Foxes and Defaced. It's had a $4 million budget, and yeah, this is a Shudder exclusive. That was put on like a week ago. So yeah, I checked it out. I heard a lot of interesting stuff about it, so I wanted to check it out. So let's see what I thought of it. So yeah, Vivarium. It stars Jesse Eisenberg and some other British actors, and yeah, and they play a young couple who are pretty much engaged, just about to get their life started out, and they're starting to look for a house together in Ireland. And then in one section of Ireland, there's like this, you come across this property management group led by a guy named Martin, who's the sales guy, and he goes and tries to sell them on this new subdivision in this one house. And as they pull into the subdivision, they go to check it out. And as they pull in, they realize all the houses look the same. And something's not quite right. And then they go look into the house, and it's like their dream home. And it already has like a nursery set up for a young boy. And then, everything else seems to be perfect. And so they go to the back to talk about it. And they're not sure they're going to go check some other places out, even though it is a really nice place. And as they were leaving, they realize Martin's not there. And as go, they go to leave. They hop in the car, and then they can't find their way out of the subdivision, and they seem to be trapped there. They do this throughout the night. They keep coming to house number 9, which is the one they looked at in the beginning, and so they realize they're stuck there. So they're going to spend the night there, and as they do that, they try to figure out different ways to escape from it. And yeah, it's they do everything from like climbing up on the roof and looking around. All they see is like the same house. All the clouds are the same, and everything is very unique. And then they eventually start digging in the yard to go lower for some reason, and see what they can find there. And as they're trying to figure out how to escape or find a way out, um, a young boy, a box appears with a young baby, and it turns out they have to end up looking after this kid. And yeah, it just escalates from there. They get boxes of packaged food randomly, and then they get and the boy grows very fast. So like within like 60 days, he's already like a 12-year-old, and but only copies what they do, and watches TV with the subliminal message thing on it all the time. And you basically watch them basically forced into parenthood and raise this kid as their own. And yeah, but still trying to deal with like how they want to go home and how they want to get out of it. And it's very emotionally impactful story, especially the first half. And yeah, and throughout the story, it just seems like there's no way out. It keeps throwing you twist after twist, and it's very they're very subtle, but it's very effective. And it's a very moving type of story. And yeah, it was quite interesting to watch. It's more on like a take of young adults moving on with their lives, not knowing what's coming. So it's like the fear of like owning your own house for the first time, having a child for the first time, dealing with that type of stuff, and what kind of like monsters come with that nature of it. And then near the end of the film, it gets very distorted and odd, and a little bit of an acid trip almost. And but yeah, it was quite moving and quite interesting for how it was. The acting in this film is very well done, and the writing of it is not too bad. I like the first half especially. The second half kind of gets a little weird and odd, but I like how this one is not your typical Hollywood ending type scenarios. They do a little more risky take on the ending, which I absolutely adored. And yeah, the concept overall was pretty interesting, but it's very tame. So if this is the type of movie you put on if someone's like not really into horror and stuff, this is more of a thriller than a horror film. And but it's definitely quite the mind uh messer upper type of film. It definitely leads you in a couple dead ends and then keeps changing directions on where to go, and it keeps you guessing, which is good. You don't see movies like that very often now, and for the minimal budget that they did, it looks really well done. Like the cinematography is well done, and how they used to convey like young adult fears and stuff like that and metaphors and stuff. I'm sure there's tons of layers of metaphors in this, but it's definitely quite the interesting watch. It is a slow burn and it might be a little boring to some people for like half of it, but it definitely does accumulate into something really different and odd, which I liked. I just wish there's more going on. Like it's the same thing over and over again, just like at different periods of like a child's life and stuff, and them letting out their frustrations. But I wish they had like a little more depth into like how weird the world around them has become, and they explore that a little bit more. And it is very stationary, and with that it gets a little repetitive and dull, but the ending was quite interesting and amusing to see, to say the least. There's not really much else to complain about, besides like the pacing's a little off, I found, but other than that it's a pretty well done film. um, I just wish that there was a little more conflict and the pacing was a little bit more fluent and not as super slow. But other than that, Vivarium is quite an interesting film and is definitely quite unique, especially for these days. And it's definitely something you should check out because we don't see movies like this very much anymore. Now that Hollywood's all about remakes, reboots, and adding sequels to a never-ending film franchise, it's good to see these indie filmmakers coming out with these new, interesting takes on how life is and stuff, and a reflection of it, basically done in a weird artistic way. So, yeah, it's a really good film. Definitely check it out. It's a little bit artsy, might be a little too artsy for some people, but I really enjoyed this film. So definitely check it out. It's on Shudder right now, so you'll find it on there. I'm sure it'll be on other streaming services later on. I think they just got first dibs. So yeah, I'm gonna give Vivarium a 4 out of 5. It was definitely a really good one, and looking forward to seeing what the director has to come in his future projects and stuff. Definitely a unique thriller to check out. So definitely check it out. There's a trailer link down below if you never heard of it and you want to check it out. It's linked down below. Also, my Instagram is always linked down below where I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. You can follow them. Yeah, there's a... Yeah, so that's linked down below. I usually have the film title hashtag and subgenre film in the hashtag so you're aware of it. And the video clips that I'm going to review in the future. But yeah, also my Letterbox is linked down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first story right after watching the films. Like this video, share it so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you've seen it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have any films I want to hear my opinions on, whether they're like horror, thrillers, or any genre at all, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And that's it for this one. Vivarium is quite the unique thriller with some horror elements mixed in. Definitely check it out. It's one of the better ones so far that I've seen in a little while. So definitely check out Vivarium if you have Shudder. Also, while you're on Shudder, look for my name with no spaces, Derek Peterson. That's me. I usually post a skull rating and my first opinion of the film right after watching them. So yeah, if you're on Shudder, look for me in the comments. And yeah, make sure you subscribe so hopefully you can find something weird, obscure, and odd like this film for you to check out together, and or so you can hear my opinions on popular films as well. Apparently that's really interesting. So Yeah, make sure you subscribe and tune in for the next one review, because the next review I'm going to be diving into actually a really big franchise from the early 2000s that a lot of people, I decided to look back because I haven't really watched them since they went to theaters. So yeah, so the next film I'm going to review, it's going to be more of a fantasy film. We're going to be starting the Harry Potter films. So I'm going to review Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the Sorcerer's Stone, as some people call it, in the next one. So make sure you subscribe so you can ring the bell so you can know when that one goes up. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Watch out for all those crazy house salesmen that sells you a house that leads to nowhere and all your fears. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So till then, cheers.